Scientists try and build our genome from scratch, and space satellites reveal magma bubbling under New Zealand. This is Science Wrap. Hi, and welcome back to Science Wrap, the show where we feed you the tastiest new research from the world of science, all wrapped up in an easy-to-digest package. My name's Miriam, PhD and science lover. In possibly one of the most groundbreaking announcements in human biology, scientists have this week proposed to make and build an entire human genome from scratch synthetically. Essentially what this means is that they'll make all the chemical components of DNA, also known as bases, and then rebuild the structure that makes up a human. The so-called Human Genome Project, RIGHT, goes a massive step further than any other project of its kind. The genetic makeup of viruses and some bacteria have already been synthesized, and researchers are currently working on the genome for yeast. Yeast is pretty simple on a DNA level. It's made up of 16 chromosomes, or bundles of DNA, which consist of about 10 million base pairs. Compare that to a human with 46 chromosomes and over 3 billion base pairs. That means there's massive room for error, especially when a single change in a base pair can lead to a whole section of DNA not coding as it should. Add to this another layer of complexity in that scientists don't just want to build the DNA, they want it to function in a proper cell as DNA normally would. It's the difference between putting a piece of IKEA furniture together with no instructions and actually having it function properly in your home as a shelf or a table or what have you. Okay, but you don't just propose a massive project like this without laying some groundwork first. There are some really recent advances in gene science that make this project more of a possibility. One of these is CRISPR, or clustered, regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. These are basically series of repeating DNA bases with spacer or non-coding sequences in the middle. The repeating sequences can be matched to target areas on other pieces of DNA and used to slice those sections out. It's kind of like a pair of scissors that you could program to cut out one particular sentence within a massive newspaper. On top of that, you've got small sections of DNA that have already been synthesized, as well as areas of DNA that are fairly similar across all species. Of course, you don't just go and announce that you're building a synthetic human on a cellular level without entering into some kind of moral or ethical discussion. The ultimate goal of the research is to have a functioning genome that exists outside an animal body that can be used to better understand genetic disorders or our evolution, or even to eventually make transplantable organs or cancer-resistant cells. In the proposal, scientists outline plans to have conversations well in advance of project implementation, with the highest biosafety standards guiding their work. They also make it very clear that there are no plans to use this work to engineer designer humans. The concern always with this type of research is that any public discussion around the topic is going to be overshadowed by loud, emotional voices rather than ones of inquiry and skepticism. Nature News actually already have a really good article discussing this proposal, so if you're at all interested or concerned, I highly encourage you to read that. I'm going to put the link down below. In other science news that kind of makes me miss home a little bit, researchers have discovered liquid hot magma bubbling under New Zealand's surface. Using synthetic aperture radar, a technique where you create a 3D map of an area, geologists have noted that the area around Taupo has risen at a rate of approximately 12 millimeters a year. One possible explanation of this observation is that the tectonic plates under the area are moving and causing the land to rise. Tectonic plates are where there are cracks in the Earth's outermost layer, or the crust. Conveniently, there's one running right down the length of New Zealand, but the rate of uplift and its location don't match up to tectonic plate movement. So instead, scientists suggest that magma is bubbling up through the crust and building up there. Weirdly though, the magma isn't building up where you'd expect, which is under a volcano, but instead it's building up off to one side. The authors of this research aren't exactly sure why that is, but they think that maybe stacked layers of rocks under the surface are guiding the magma to that location. The buildup of magma in a particular area can lead to earthquakes, which may explain some of the events in the Bay of Plenty area from 1977 onwards. But geologists say there's no immediate threat. Okay, that's a wrap on some of the science news from this week. Thanks very much for watching. And don't forget, there's always bonus content and links in the down bar. See you guys next time. Bye!